All right, so we're doing a little experiment here today, or I'm doing a little experiment. There's no we, it's just me. Doing a little experiment, trying to figure out if I can take this little guitar. This is a Carlo Robelli. Let's see, the model is CDG27CEBK, and I believe this guitar retails for something like $100. It's definitely a starter level guitar. It was given to me by my uncle, just out of the kindness of his heart, which was awesome. And I liked how it sounded so much that I just kept playing it, and it got me playing guitar again after almost 20 years of not playing guitar. And so I like this little guitar. It sounds pretty good, but I decided it would be interesting and it would be educational for me to experiment with it a little bit and see if I could make this little guitar sound even better. It already has a really nice sound for my ears, at least. I'm not an experienced musician by any means. I don't need it to sound amazing. And, I go to the music store like everybody and I'll play around on a $2,000 guitar and be amazed at how good it sounds. It doesn't sound anything like that, but it sounds really nice, and so I enjoy it. But what I'm going to do, I have some stuff coming in the mail the next couple of days. The first thing that's going to arrive will get here later today, and that is new pins. They're Tusk pins, a new saddle, Tusk saddle, and then down or up here the nut. I'm getting a new Tusk nut and some nice strings. All right, and they're Gibson strings, and I'll show them before I put them on. And then in a couple of days, maybe a week, I should also get in the mail a Mitchel's Platemate. Which I'll link to in the comments of this video. It's essentially a little brass plate that goes inside the guitar, right here under the bridge, and so the strings catch on the holes in this little Platemate when you put new strings on the guitar, and it protects the bridge plate on the inside of the guitar, but it also helps with sustain and tone a little bit. So I'm hoping that adding all of these features to the guitar, based on another video I saw, these were recommendations by that YouTuber, I'm hoping that it'll really give this guitar a really, really nice sound. It already sounds pretty good. So what I'm going to do now is just play around a little bit on this guitar just for a reference point, and then I will chop that part of this video up into multiple sections, and I'll try to do side-by-sides with this as it stands now. These strings are about a week old, and they're just, standard strings. They were $5 in a pack. Nothing special about them at all. So I'll do that comparison once I get all the upgrades done. So I'm just going to pick around a little bit, and then I'll come back and chop it up, and the next thing you see will be the side-by-side of the guitar. And I'll try to put a caption on. If I can figure out how to do that, I'll put a caption on showing which is the upgraded version and which is the regular, so you can hear the difference. All right, so I'm just going to pick around a little bit. I should warn you, I am not a good guitarist. Like I said, I haven't really played in 20 years, so my fingers are still kind of getting used to the strings and trying to relearn stuff that I used to know. So here we go. Okay, so here's the strings that are on the guitar currently. This is what I put on. I got a 3-pack for, I think, $10 or $11 on Amazon. So these are Martin acoustic extra lights, 0.010 to 0.047. And like I said, I think I got a 3-pack for like $11 or something. So that's what's on the guitar right now. These are what I'm putting on the guitar. They're a little bit heavier string, quite a bit heavier. They're still lights, but they're a little bit heavier than what's on there. And they're Gibson master built premiums with phosphorus bronze, or phosphorus bronze wound. So we're going to add those to the guitar and see how that changes. Then, what also came in the mail is this Tusk nut. All right, so that's going to go on the guitar. And some pins. All right, these are also Tusk pins. And then this Tusk saddle. However, it looks like the saddle is close to 1/4 of an inch too wide. So if I'm going to look into that and see if I need to trim it or what, or if it's just a different size saddle that I need to order and I need to return this. So we will see. We will see. But I suspect I'm going to wind up returning the saddle and getting a different size one. So we shall see. But that's what's going on the guitar, just to kind of put you up to date. And then, like I said, I've got the Mitchel's Platemate coming, but that's a small business rather than Amazon Prime. So while I got those, in a day and a half, it's going to be, I think they said a week to 10 days on the Mitchell's Platemate. So it'll be a while till I get that. And I may go ahead and do some of these upgrades beforehand and play around with the guitar a little bit. I will hold off on putting the new strings on until I get the Mitchell's Platemate, but I probably will go ahead and put everything else on while I'm waiting, and kind of get used to the feel of the guitar. That should give me time to figure out the saddle situation as well. So that's what's going on. All right, so it's been about a week. All the pieces I was waiting for arrived. I did end up having to replace the saddle that I got in the mail. It was the wrong kind, and so what I ended up with, and this isn't the new saddle in the box here, this is the old one, but we'll move that out of the way. The model I turned out to need was this one. Just showing you on the tag there. It was just a simple tusk saddle. I just had the wrong model before, so it's been replaced, and that's now installed on the guitar. So we've got new saddle and pins. We have a new nut, and we have brand new strings. And so that is everything I was going to add to the guitar, and now it's time to kind of do the side-by-sides. Obviously, I'm wearing a white shirt now. The old video, as I do the side-by-sides, the old ones are the black Guns N' Roses shirt, the new ones are the white shirt. Okay, so that's the difference between the two with the upgrades and the changes to the I guess components of the guitar. I don't have great recording equipment, so it's probably hard to hear the real difference as much as I hear it here, but the sound is completely different. It sounds like a different guitar altogether. And it solved a couple of other problems. There were some issues with the guitar. One of them was that the G string in particular would pop if I bent it, and you can hear that in the little, I guess solo is a big word, but the little playing around that I did right at the end of the side-by-sides. In the older version, with the older equipment, there was always a pop on that G string every time I did that bend. That's gone, and I think that's the Mitchell's Platemate fixing that problem. So that's kind of nice. What I mainly hear in terms of difference is that the sounds are brighter, and that I can differentiate between each note. When, even in a chord, I can hear every single note, where with the old setup, everything kind of seemed muddy. So there's, sustain is better. I didn't really demonstrate that, but sustain is quite a bit better. Overall tone is better, and like I said, I can differentiate between the notes. They don't tend to blend together quite so much. So I think, for the amount of money I put into it, I think it was a total of about $30 spent. And honestly, I had Amazon credit that covered that anyway, so it was free for me, with the exception of Mitchell's Platemate, which, again, I screwed up. I did not record or take pictures of that before I put it on the guitar. I was excited to get it and just wanted to get it done, so I went ahead and put that in, but I have linked to the Mitchell's Platemate website in the notes. And you know, as a small business owner, I love to support small businesses, and it really did wonders for the guitar. And like I said, it fixed that popping problem, I think. So I'm really happy with it. It took about 10 minutes to install, and I'm not exactly a carpenter, folks. I could, you know, it was sticky tape basically. And you just got to make sure you get the right measurements. I also added a link to the YouTube video that inspired me to do all this, and I want to thank that gentleman for putting out the content that he put out. I found it really helpful. I can't think of his name right now, but I will definitely add it as a caption to the video right now. And I will link to his YouTube video down in the bottom. Thank you, sir. Really appreciate you doing that video. Overall, I hope you liked this little demonstration. You know, again, I'm not a great guitarist, but I hope you can hear the sound. It really did make a huge difference to the guitar. So if you've got an old cheap guitar laying around and you want to see if you can make something nice out of it, for $30 or so, you can't really beat it. You can't beat the approach that I took. So thanks.